7. Duren outside the switch. Doncic goes over. And he hammers it home. Broke his ankles.
Yo, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to a brand new video. I hope you guys are doing well, and I'm bringing you guys another prospect breakdown, and this time it's on a center who we could potentially take at 11. His name is Jalen Duren, the 6'11", 250-pounder with a 7'5" wingspan, and he's only 18 years of age. And first off, you guys are probably wondering, why are we talking about a center? We have Mitchell Robinson. I think Mitchell Robinson is a very solid player, but there's no definite answer if the New York Knicks are in love with bringing him back. Maybe Mitchell Robinson demands more money, and the New York Knicks really can't afford him, or maybe he wants to change the scenery. We know Mitchell Robinson's a very hard guy to read. He says some controversial things on Twitter when it comes to like his role on the team. Then he says he loves the Knicks. It's a very interesting situation. My stance with Mitchell Robinson, he's a very impactful player. Yes, he doesn't put up big time numbers, but you see the impact of him guarding the perimeter very uniquely as a center. Him being a solid interior defender, one of the best shot blockers in the league. He's even proven to stay healthy this year. He's a rim runner. He's someone that thrives coming off of screens, rolling hard to the basket. He's an athletic freak of nature. He had a career high in rebounds, but at the end of the day, he really does limit our offense. I do understand we still haven't found that consistency at the point guard position to really get him involved, but we also don't have shot creators right now. So if we go on to not pay a Mitchell Robinson, there's going to be some flexibility within the cap, and we could potentially draft someone with more versatility, and we'll have him on a rookie contract, and that gives us more time and flexibility with contracts to bring in a shot creator. Don't get me wrong, I would bring back Mitchell Robinson if we had a shot creator in the lineup, because the offense would be a lot more versatile. But when you think about Tom Thibodeau, the offense is so bland, and Mitchell Robinson really hasn't made any improvements when it comes to scoring the basketball or becoming more versatile of a scorer. He still has no post game. We don't really see drop steps. We don't see just any post game at all. We haven't seen a hook shot in his Knicks career. We've only seen one attempted mid-range shot, and that's when the shot clock was winding down his rookie year versus the Dallas Mavericks. So I really do think Jalen Duren's a prospect the New York Knicks should definitely look out for, because he'll be on a rookie contract. He brings more versatility, at least potential-wise, and when his contract's coming towards the tail end, I do think he's going to be more ahead of the curve than a Mitchell Robinson when it comes to his offensive skill set. And we'll see if Tom Thibodeau's here if we go on to draft Jalen Duren and his contract's expiring. But Mitchell Robinson, impactful player, but the offense is very limited right now, and he really does limit our offense. At least he's not the best of fit for us right now. I think if he goes to a team of shot creators and he's not asked to do a lot, I think he could definitely dominate. But right now, he's not the best of fit. But if we bring in a shot creator, if we bring in a point guard, it's a different story. But do you still want to pay Mitchell Robinson? Do you think he's really going to expand his offensive game? But let's get right into Jalen Duren. So starting off with Jalen Duren's athleticism, like I said, his physical tools are absolutely off the charts. 6'11", 250-pound, 7'5" wingspan with an insane vertical. His athleticism is definitely something that's going to translate over to the NBA level. If we're talking about him setting hard screens, he's a solid screen setter. Even though there's going to be an adjustment period going to the NBA, there's a lot more physical guys and obviously harder competition. There's still going to be an adjustment period, but he rolls really hard to the basket. He has huge hands. He's able to handle the basketball or catch the basketball when it comes to bounce passes, alley-oops, utilizing that 7'5" wingspan. It doesn't matter where it is around the rim. He has those go-go gadget, just Inspector Gadget, I believe the show is called, those types of arms. He's just an athletic freak of nature. He runs the floor like an absolute beast. He's always ready for the basketball. Put back dunks, just that second jump is absolutely so lethal. Like being able to get his own rebound off of a miss. This dude is just so much fun to watch when it comes to the athleticism side of things, of just not giving up on a play. He plays with he's a ferocious play style. He loves the game of basketball. He plays the game with so much emotion. And it's not just the dunks. Even if he doesn't miss a shot or a teammate of his misses a shot and he gets an offensive rebound, he just recognizes when he has to go up strong. He's literally a grown man. Like, this dude's 18 years old. He was supposed to be a senior in high school this year, but he looked like a man amongst boys. He's posting up. He just muscles his way in the paint, and he finishes through contact. He doesn't just look for the free throws, but he does need to improve from the free throw line, only shooting 61%. But he's a dominant freak of nature with his strength, with his physicality. He plays like a grown man. And now I'm going to get rid of a narrative everyone's talking about. Everyone's just saying he's a rim runner when he's much more than that. He actually has a pretty solid versatile skill set when it comes to the offense side of the basketball. And we're going to be starting off with the shooting. When I watched his film, I was actually pleasantly surprised. I was like, he should be talked about more when it comes to the top 7 conversation, because I really do think he has that potential to be a very, very solid big man. Because I was starting to listen to everyone, maybe he's just a rim runner when you just like look at his highlights, but when you watch the film, he has a solid touch from mid-range territory. He's not afraid to shoot from mid-range territory at all. He could face up, use that jab step, pull up on the left wing, the corner. He has a fall away, mid-range fadeaway as well, and he knocks it down when his feet are set and he's not shooting on the way down. I think it comes down to being squared up towards the basket, having the right fundamentals, not shooting on the way down, because when his fundamentals are set, he's proven to be a solid mid-range jump shooter, but it's still a work in progress, and there's definitely something to work with there. But he only attempted 1 3 from beyond the arc, but maybe he'll get to that point that he could attempt 1 or 2 threes. Like we've seen guys like Brook Lopez that went from not shooting threes at all in their career in the Brooklyn Nets days to really expanding their game. But I absolutely love what he's able to do in the post. He does need to improve though when it comes to, like, he needs to add a hook shot, or at least a consistent hook shot. But Jalen Duren, his ability to use his strength, his physicality, and use this up and under, and then use the rim and backboard for his protection, and he has this nice little reverse that no one's really talking about a lot. Everyone just thinks he's this rim runner, athletic freak of nature. Yes, that is true that he's an athletic freak of nature, but he has some finesse, he has some skill to his game, and he's only 18 years of age. But what impressed me the most, like, yeah, talk about his face-up jumpers, the fadeaway jumper, that's pretty smooth, but it cannot end well if his feet aren't set and he's shooting on the way down. But it's his patience. It's his ability to figure out these angles and really get in the position of front or get behind and call for lobs. The patience, just continuously fighting for positioning, and he does that when it comes to rebounding the basketball as well. But I was very surprised, or I was just very impressed when I actually watched the film. I'm like, this is who Jalen Duren is. And sometimes he wasn't always put in the position to be successful. Sometimes there was inconsistent point guard play that he would be frozen out of the offense. And I'm like, he could have easily averaged 15 to 16 points per game if he got his field goals up and he was more constantly involved in the action, because it wasn't him. If you think there's motor concerns, not at all. If you watch this dude play, he plays at 110% every single play. Now getting into his rebounding is probably one of the most important and one of the most impressive things, like as a big man, like in this draft class, he's actually one of the best rebounders. And the way this team was run by Penny Hardaway, everyone was active on the boards. He wasn't just asking Jalen Duren to get boards. He averaged 8 rebounds, but he actually went on to break a playoff record in his debut when it came to his conference for the most rebounds in a playoff game, as he finished with 21 points and 20 rebounds in his playoff debut, which was extremely impressive. He averaged 8 rebounds in the regular season. 3 of them were offensive rebounds. You just take a look at that second jump. At times, you see him literally jump over people, but that wingspan, his athleticism, is definitely going to help him out to be potentially a really good rebounder. And I definitely do think he has a higher ceiling when it comes to rebounding the ball compared to a Mitchell Robinson, because he has that strength, because there's more of a consistent physicality when it comes to his game, not taking a playoff. Even though I don't think Mitchell Robinson took a playoff, I just think he has more of that girth and he has more of that strength when it comes to rebounding the basketball. But having huge hands helps, just always being in the right position, fighting for positioning. When you're going up against someone that has long arms, is very physical and very strong, it's going to be hard to front them and box them out, and Jalen Duren was just an absolute beast at that. He has potential to be one of the best rebounders or the best rebounder in this draft class. Now getting into the most underrated part of Jalen Duren's game, and that is his playmaking. I understand if you look at the stats, he only averaged 1 assist per game to 2 turnovers a game. But if you watch the film, you really see what Jalen Duren brings to the table, and there's a pretty versatile skill set when it comes to him passing the basketball. I love the overall awareness when it comes to Jalen Duren. He recognizes that he has this freakishly long wingspan, that he's very strong, he puts to use in the right ways, and him being so dominant in the interior, and just his overall recognition of he knows he's so dominant in the interior, he puts to use and he helps out his teammates. One of my favorite things about him is when he sets a screen, he rolls to the basket and he recognizes the second man is coming for the turnover or for the double team, and he's like, I know someone's going to be open outside on the perimeter. He makes a beautiful pocket pass, or he just makes a perfect pass outside on the perimeter, and just he knows where to put it right into the shooter's pocket, and they have the capability of knocking it down. And also,
because he knows the second man's coming, or he knows he's such, like, kind of even a threat from mid-range territory, or in general, he recognizes when someone is cutting back door, and he just has very solid touch on his passes for someone that is a big man, 6'11", 250 pounds. But easily my favorite part about his passing is his lob passes. His lob passes are absolutely off the charts. When you really take a look at it, he recognizes mismatches in the interior, and he just puts enough touch behind them. He just executes beautiful passes in the interior, lobbing it over the defense, because he's so great at these lob passes, because he knows where he just knows where to put the ball when it comes to these lob passes, because he's so used to catching these lobs. So he's like, I'm gonna put it where I like it to be put, even though he can catch it from literally anywhere, because he's an athletic freak of nature. But he brings a lot of versatility, passing the ball. If it's outside on the perimeter, guys cutting back door, lob passes. He brings some versatility, and there's some upside there. But sometimes he could do a little too much, and he could. Yes, he could pull a freaking magic trick out of a hat, but then sometimes he could just force it into a double team or not put enough juice behind them, and it could be a lazy pass resulting in a turnover.
Now getting into his defense, obviously he's one of the best defensive players, or has potential to be one of the best defensive players in the NBA. He averaged 2.1 blocks per game, nearly a steal. He actually reads the passing lanes very well, and his agility, he's just very mobile for someone that is 6'11", 250 pounds with a freakishly long wingspan. But like I mentioned, his athleticism, he does a really good job reading these passing lanes, jumping, just his recognition, his timing, it's actually kind of unbelievable. And like I mentioned, he's a pretty solid or very damn good rim protector. And everyone's just going to take a look at the wingspan. Everyone's going to take a look at the athleticism. But he actually had pretty solid fundamentals. He recognized that he has these physical tools, so he doesn't have to try to do too much and swat every shot. Yes, he's going to have those highlight types of plays when it comes to blocking the basketball, but his wingspan, his strength alone, just being intimidating to go up on, it really helps him when it comes to altering shots. But he's changed momentum of games with his athleticism. He doesn't give up on plays at all. He's one of the best players when it comes to overcoming adversity in this draft class. He can commit a big turnover, or it looks like a team's going to score on the other end, but he realizes that I have these physical tools, I'm going to use them the right way. I'm going to chase down, block this guy, just embarrass him in front of everyone. One play I absolutely loved of overcoming adversity, he had a stupid turnover, he jumped on a pass, but some guys could have put their head down, gave up, and let them get the bucket. No, this dude jumped up, made a very smart defensive play, straight hands up fundamental defense, secured the rebound. This dude just plays with such a high motor, and it is so much fun to watch. But there we have it. That is Jalen Duren from Memphis, the athletic freak of nature who I actually think has a lot of potential at the next level. And if you ever think someone, like everyone's talking about, this player is not that good, take a look at the film. But it doesn't just come down to the player, though. It comes down to the situation they go in. Do they have the right coach? Do they have the right personnel around them? And yes, Mitchell Robinson didn't have a point guard, or Mitchell Robinson may come back. It's a big-time possibility that Mitchell Robinson does come back. And when you're a center, you want that point guard that could just spoon feed you and get you these easy buckets inside. We saw what Chris Paul did with DeAndre Jordan, Blake Griffin, Jamal Crawford, JJ Redick, like some of these best players on that Clippers team. He really put them in the position to be successful, running the pick and roll like perfection, catching guys on his hip, and really baiting the defense in and just opening up things for DeAndre Jordan and Blake Griffin. So that would definitely help with Jalen Duren. But he's a lot more versatile than people think. I'm not saying it's a knockdown mid-range shot, but there's something to work with there. And we'll see who goes on to be our point guard next season. If it's quickly, just whoever it is, it's going to be very interesting. But I think Jalen Duren can potentially bring a lot of things to the NBA. Let me know down below your thoughts. Peace out, y'all.